Isn't it strange how the stories that stick with us, they're not always the ones with neat, tidy endings. It's those dangling threads, you know?
Oh, absolutely. The unexplained whispers, the sheer weirdness.
Yeah, that's what really burrows into your brain.
Our minds seem almost, well, magnetized to the gaps in our understanding, especially when those gaps are filled with really unsettling possibilities.
Like we need to fill them in somehow.
Exactly. It speaks to that fundamental human drive, doesn't it? To find patterns, find meaning, even when faced with something utterly baffling.
Well, if baffling is what you're after, you've definitely come to the right place today. We're plunging into this curated collection of real head scratchers.
Okay.
It's called Top 10 Unsolved Horror Mystery Cases of 2024 from an article by Soman Goswami.
Right, I saw that list. It's quite a mix.
It really is. Not your standard, like, spooky season stuff. We're talking ships becoming silent tombs, planes vanishing from the sky.
People disappearing, strange deaths, even a doll with a, shall we say, creepy reputation.
Exactly. A very creepy reputation.
It's a diverse set of enigmas, for sure. Some are huge existential scale dread, others more personal, maybe irrational fears.
But what ties them all together?
I think it's their resistance to explanation. That and the lingering sense of just unease they leave you with.
Right. Now, the article itself, it does sort of frame these as inspired by urban legends, folklore, maybe a bit of creative license thrown in.
Okay, so not necessarily presented as cold, hard fact.
Not entirely.
Yeah.
But for our deep dive today, we're actually going to treat the details in the article as, well, as the basis for our chat.
Got it. So we're exploring the elements within those stories.
Yeah, our mission is to kind of dissect these unsettling tales, get under the skin of what makes them so compelling, why they fascinate us.
So consider it an exploration of the anatomy of a good mystery, especially the unsettling, inexplicable kind.
Perfect. We're not trying to solve it, obviously.
No, probably couldn't anyway. It's more about understanding their enduring power.
All right, let's kick things off. A classic maritime mystery. The SS Orang Medan.
Ah, yes, 1947. The Dutch ship.
Picture this. Distress calls, chilling ones. All officers, including captain, are dead. Then just gibberish, and finally, I die.
When rescuers get there.
They find exactly that. The entire crew, dead. Expressions frozen in like absolute terror. But no visible injuries, no signs of a fight.
It's bizarre what could cause that. Such widespread fear-inducing death with, well, nothing obvious to point to.
That's the question, isn't it?
What's immediately striking about the Orang Medan is the simultaneity of it all, everyone seemingly at once, and the complete lack of a physical explanation.
It just throws up so many unsettling possibilities.
Totally. Was it some kind of rapid-acting toxin that left no trace? A weird atmospheric event? Something else entirely?
And the fear on their faces, it suggests a truly horrifying final moment.
But the absence of a cause is what's deeply disturbing. It really speaks to our vulnerability against, unseen, unknown threats.
It really does. The ultimate ghost ship scenario, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump forward quite a bit. A much more recent and, well, arguably even more perplexing disappearance.
Has to be MH370.
Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 2014. A modern Boeing 777 Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. 239 people on board. Just vanishes.
And the scale of the search afterwards was unprecedented.
Years of searching, millions spent, and virtually no confirmed wreckage found. I mean, a few pieces washed ashore, but nothing definitive about what happened. How does that happen today?
The MH370 case, I think, hits on a uniquely modern fear. It's the fallibility of our amazing technology, isn't it?
Yeah, and the vastness that still exists, even in our supposedly connected world.
How can this incredibly sophisticated plane, tracked constantly, just cease to exist on the grid? The lack of any definite explanation, it just fuels endless speculation.
Mechanical failure, hijacking, deliberate pilot action.
Right, all the theories. It underscores this unsettling reality that there are still corners of our world and maybe realms of possibility that are just beyond our grasp.
Beyond our control.
Yeah. It's the terror of the truly unknown, but in a world we think we fully understand.
That contrast is chilling. Technology versus this profound mystery. Okay, let's shift gears. A bit more grounded, maybe, but just as baffling. The Tamam Shud mystery.
Ah, the Somerton Man. Australia, 1948.
An unidentified man found dead on Somerton Beach. Healthy-looking guy, no signs of violence. But the clue,
The scrap of paper in his pocket, hidden, reading Tamam Shud.
which means it is ended. or finished in Persian, right? Ripped from a rare copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam.
And decades of investigation, DNA attempts more recently. We still don't know who he was or really what that phrase truly signified in his context.
It's like this rabbit hole of cryptic clues. The book itself, found later, had some kind of code written in it.
Exactly. The Tamam Shud case really highlights the enduring allure of the cryptic clue. That single phrase becomes this focal point for countless theories.
Suggests a hidden story, a secret code.
Yeah, something waiting to be cracked. The horror here is maybe less immediate threat, more that tantalizing feeling of being almost there, almost unlocking a secret.
But it stays just out of reach. Forever.
Right. It speaks to our need for closure, the frustration of these incomplete stories.
It's like a puzzle missing the most vital piece. Infuriating. Okay, back to things vanishing into thin air. Flight 19.
1945. 5 U.S. Navy Avenger bombers. Routine training flight.
Over the Bermuda Triangle, of course.
And they just disappeared. Radio transmissions got confused, disoriented, then silence.
And the search plane sent after them.
Vanished, too. A Martin Mariner flying boat, 13 men aboard that one.
So 6 aircraft, 27 men, gone. No wreckage, no remains, despite massive searches. It's basically Exhibit A for the Bermuda Triangle legend.
Flight 19 perfectly embodies that whole mythos. It plays on our fear of nature's power, the limits of our tech against unknown forces. Maybe.
The fact that multiple planes vanish together really amps up that sense of something inexplicable.
Definitely. It feeds the narrative of a place where normal rules just don't apply. Touches on that primal fear of being overwhelmed, swallowed whole.
Right. Like the ocean just inhaled them.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting to something more recent and deeply disturbing. Elise Salam.
Oh, the Cecil Hotel case, 2013, Los Angeles.
Yeah, a Canadian student found dead in a water tank on the hotel roof. Awful. But what makes it so chilling, so endlessly discussed?
The elevator footage.
That bizarre surveillance video, showing her acting incredibly strange, erratic, in the elevator just before she disappeared. Peeking out, hiding, gesturing.
It's deeply unsettling footage, raises so many questions. Her state of mind, foul play, something. Stranger.
And combined with the Cecil Hotel's dark history.
Yeah, it's got quite the reputation. And the sheer mechanics of how she ended up in a locked water tank on the roof, it just doesn't add up easily.
It creates this vortex of unanswered questions, a lingering sense that something profoundly odd happened there.
It definitely preys on our unease with behavior we can't explain and, the vulnerability of people, especially in these big, anonymous urban settings.
That hotel definitely has a heavy vibe. Now, another chilling family story, this time involving a fire. The Sauter family.
West Virginia, 1945, Christmas Eve.
Their house burns to the ground. Horrific. The parents, George and Jenny, and 4 of the 9 children escape.
But the other 5?
Vanished. No bodies, no remains ever found in the ashes, despite the fire department saying the blaze was intense enough to cremate them.
But the parents never believed it. They thought the children were abducted.
Exactly. They put up billboards for years, followed leads. Did they die in the fire? Were they somehow taken beforehand?
Yeah.
Murdered, abducted? It's just a horrific mystery.
The Sauter case strikes right at that fundamental fear, the safety of your kids, the sanctity of home.
And the lack of remains.
Yeah.
It's statistically so unlikely in a house fire.
Which is why it fuels decades of speculation. The potential for foul play, for the sudden, brutal separation. It makes it particularly disturbing. It resonates with our deepest fears about family, security.
The kind of thing that just haunts you forever. Okay, let's delve into the more explicitly supernatural now, according to the article. Ravenswood Manor.
Right, the classic haunted house setup. An ancient manor steeped in tradition, folklore.
And now, supposedly, a hotbed of paranormal activity. The atmosphere is described as gloomy foreboding, linked to legends of a dark past, maybe a sinister pact or something.
So what kind of activity is reported?
The usual suspects, but maybe more intense.
Yeah.
Phantom footsteps, disembodied voices, whispers, and apparently apparitions seen in the gardens, but with faces of, utter misery.
Oof, that's quite specific.
Yeah. And despite attempts to debunk it all, the article says the manor remains, stubbornly haunted, attracts thrill seekers.
Ravenswood Manor really embodies that haunted location archetype. Taps into our fascination with the past, the idea that trauma or strong emotions can leave an imprint, right?
Like a psychic stain.
Yeah, and the phenomena reported sounds, voices, sights are classic ghost story tropes. What's interesting is how these stories build on a place's history, real or imagined, creates a feedback loop.
Where belief and atmosphere kind of reinforce each other.
Exactly. Drawing in people looking for the uncanny, which further solidifies the haunted rep.
Sounds like a place that would give you the creeps just driving past it. Then we have another maritime mystery, but different. The ghost ship Spectre.
Ah, the phantom vessel, seen adrift, North Atlantic fog, no crew.
Right, empty, and naturally rumors swirl around it. Cursed treasure, angry spirits of a lost crew.
The usual ghost ship lore. What is it about these derelict vessels?
They just capture the imagination, don't they?
Ghost ship legends are deep in maritime lore, reflects the real dangers of the sea, the vulnerability out there. The Spectre, like the Flying Dutchman or others, becomes this potent symbol. Isolation, the ocean's power, the unknown fates of those lost at sea.
The emptiness invites speculation.
Oh.
Disaster, mutiny, supernatural stuff.
Yeah, the ship itself becomes this silent, spectral testament to some unknown tragedy, a floating riddle.
Exactly, daring us to solve it. Okay, next up, we've got The Curse of the Crying Statue.
Intriguing name. What's the story there?
It's this centuries-old statue, apparently, in some quiet countryside village, and it's said to weep tears of blood.
Okay, creepy. And significant.
Well, yeah. Supposedly, it always foretells some kind of disaster for the village or the region.
And people believe this.
According to the article, yes. Despite attempts to debunk it, natural condensation, iron oxide stains, whatever the belief in the curse persists, it really impacts the local community.
The crying statue really speaks to the power of belief, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And shared communal stories.
Whether there's a rational explanation or not.
Right. The fact that the community ascribes prophetic power to it, and that belief lasts generations. It highlights our human tendency to seek meaning in inexplicable, especially things that seem to foreshadow bad stuff.
It becomes part of the local culture, a way to understand or maybe cope with random misfortune.
Precisely. Woven into the fabric of the place. Fascinating how those beliefs endure.
It really is. Okay, finally, we have maybe the most personally unsettling one on the list. Isabel Jones and her haunted antique doll.
Ah, the creepy doll trope. Always effective.
Isabel is described as an antique doll collector. She gets this one porcelain doll and claims it has a truly menacing presence.
Menacing how? What does it supposedly do?
Well, moves on its own, classic stuff. But also appears suddenly at the foot of her bed. Whispered murmurs heard near it. Objects vanishing and reappearing around the house.
Okay, that's escalating the creep factor significantly.
Yeah, apparently paranormal investigators tried to cleanse it, but no luck. So, Isabel's solution.
What does she do? Burn it?
No, she apparently buried it in the woods. In a box, chained shut and sanctified somehow. But the article says she still lives in fear that it will somehow return.
Wow, that's extreme.
Isn't it? That dedication to getting rid of it and the lingering fear.
The haunted doll is such a potent horror idea because it twists something innocent, a child's toy, into something malevolent. Violates our sense of safety, the natural order.
Totally.
Isabel Jones's detailed story plays right into that unease. The inanimate coming to life, feeling targeted by something relentless but within your own home.
And her extreme measures, burying it.
Yeah.
It just underscores the psychological power of believing in something like that. Believing a mundane object is actively malevolent.
It's a powerful narrative.
Wow. Okay, so from, entire vanished flights and ship crews down to a single terrifying doll. That's quite the spectrum of unsolved horror.
It really covers a lot of ground, doesn't it?
And you're right. Even if the article notes they're based on folklore, maybe embellished, they all absolutely tap into those deep-seated human anxieties.
About the unknown, about lost control, and the potential for realities just beyond what we experience every day.
Yeah. Whether it's the huge emptiness left by MH370, the silent terror on the orang medan faces,
or the unnerving stillness of Isabel Jones's doll before it supposedly moves. These stories, however factual or fictionalized their roots, they resonate.
They tap into our capacity for fear, and maybe wonder too.
Definitely both. Fear of the unexplained, but also a kind of morbid curiosity.
So, thinking about this whole unsettling collection, which one for you kind of lingers the most? Which mystery do you find the most compelling?
That's tough. They all have their own hook. But I think for me, it might still be the Tamam Shud mystery.
Really? The Somerton man, why that one?
It's that single enigmatic clue. That tiny piece of paper, Tamam Shud. It feels so deliberate, like a key dropped into the world meant to unlock something.
A bigger story, a hidden life.
Exactly. And the fact that it's resisted every attempt to decipher its true meaning for, over 70 years now, it just speaks volumes about the enduring power of the truly unknown.
And our relentless drive to make sense of even the smallest fragments.
Yeah. That persistent puzzle aspect is incredibly magnetic.
That's a great point. It is that feeling of a story just tantalizingly out of reach. So, for you listening, which of these mysteries grabbed your attention the most?
Was it the scale of MH370? The bizarre details of Elisa Lam? The sheer creepiness of the doll?
Yeah, what was it about that particular case that sparked your curiosity? Or maybe sent a genuine shiver down your spine?
And maybe stepping back, thinking more broadly, what is it about these kinds of unsolved horror mysteries that keeps such a powerful grip on our collective imagination?
That's the big question, isn't it? What might these tales of the unexplained, whether folklore or fact, actually tell us about ourselves?
About our own perceptions of reality, how we deal with loss, and maybe even, the possibility of something more lurking just beyond the edges of what we currently understand.